Hi, this is Sweet June coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Up late night here. Took a little nap earlier, I then turned around and woke back up, so I figured I might as well clock in. I was sitting here watching Dr. Umar Johnson, the King of Consciousness. Um, I enjoy watching his content. He's very, very pro-black. Um, I love the way he has so much passion for the black community. He's so passionate about the black community. I really love that about him. He's so passionate about the black community. He's very vested in having strong black families, strong black relationships. He's very vested in that right now. He's working on a school, um, trying to get a school together right now, and really um, can appreciate what he's trying to do. I really can appreciate what he's trying to do. I don't agree with his two wife theory. He has this theory about he keeps saying he want two queens. That doesn't line up with the scriptures, so I can't get on board with that one. So I disagree with that, but um, I love his passion for the black community. I really do. I can really appreciate his passion for the black community. It's not these days. It's a refreshing to hear a black man um, be not coming on bashing black women, but complimenting black women, trying to encourage strong black relationships and stuff like that. So, between black men and black women. So he's very very conscious in that aspect. So I can really appreciate it. Now he's this video here. He's talking about it's a black woman's fault. Black men marry white women? Question mark. He's basically telling black men that um, it's not a black woman's fault. A lot of times, black men, when they date outside or marry outside the race, the first thing they say is, well, they start blaming black women for their reasons for their mate selection outside the race. So basically, he's saying that, um, it's not the black woman's fault, you know, for your snow bunny crisis. That's what he calls it, snow bunny crisis. Don't stop blaming black women for your choice and what you made, your decision that you decided to go outside your race. Now I was on board. I was on board with everything he was saying until you guys get a good look at that title. I'm gonna click out of that title. I was on board with what he was saying until he said made this statement. Black women did not want, does not, do not, he said the difference, he said white women will see that black man's potential. He talked about this black designer that passed away, and he was with a white woman, and he was with her from high school. So started talking about him, and then he went into saying that white women will um, be with a black man, will see the potential in him and be with him on the come up. And he was saying basically black women aren't willing to do that. That's where I disagree. I was with him. I was with him until he said that. I was all the way with him until he made that statement that is absolutely not true. I have seen so many cases of black women riding with black men, riding with them, being with them when they were dead broke, supporting him, in some cases financially. And if that man has a vision and he has some dreams, she's riding with him, she's encouraging him, she's, even sometimes in some cases putting up with his crap. And then when the black man feels like she's no longer useful, or he's tired of her, or whatever the situation is, or he gets to a certain level, he kicks her to the curb and dates out. Or sometimes he just kicks her to the curb. I've heard of so many cases where black men or black women rode with black men. Because there was another brother on here, Pastor Dow, that did a video quite some time back, talking about that. And I actually did a video addressing that, but I wound up scrapping that video for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason, I did do a video addressing that, but for some reason, I wound up scrapping that video. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm addressing it now. Um, Case in point, Michael Jordan is a prime example. His first wife was a black woman, Juanita. She was a black woman. She was with him when he was in college. I don't know. I think, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I think she was with him in college. She could have been with him earlier than that. But she was with him when in college, when, he was just going to college and playing college basketball. When he was on the come up, she was there. All the way up until he got to billionaire status. Once he got to billionaire status, he felt like she was no longer good enough for him. He divorced her and married a white woman. Now that he's at billionaire status, now he's with a white woman. I like Michael Jordan, no disrespect to him, but I'm just stating the facts. And there is other cases where the black woman was with the black man up on the come up. She was fine. It was fine for him to be with her when he was on the come up, but then when he got to a certain level, she was no longer, that black woman was no longer good enough for him, and he, got rid of her, and then turned around and got with a white woman. I'm not bashing. I'm just stating the facts. And so there's been a lot of cases where black women was with black men while they was on the come up. In a lot of cases, they were broke. In my case, I'm gonna tell you about my case, because all the men that I ain't never been with no rich black man. All the black men I was with was broke. Okay, I ain't never been with no rich black man. My oldest son's dad. Has a really he has a I was just telling my mom not too long ago. If he watches this video, he's gonna hear it. But I was just telling my mom that my oldest son's dad. He has a business, a good business mind. He has a very, very good business mind, and he's very, very smart. I've always been attracted to intelligent guys. That was one thing about me. I've always been attracted to intelligence in a man. Intelligence is a very, very attractive quality to me. And so I think that's what I've seen in my oldest son's father. I seen intelligence in him, and he's very smart, and he's got a very good business mind. And he had that entrepreneurial spirit. Because when I hooked up with him, to make a long story short, when I first met him, he had a record shop. He had a record shop when I first met him. We ain't gonna tell that story. um, and it didn't work out. And make a long story short, he was making buttons, and he was selling buttons. Back in the 80s, buttons were really popular. You would put the sayings on them and stuff like that. I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, so he made me a button with Michael Jackson on it, back in the day. And so he had this button machine where he would make buttons and stuff, and he would put little sayings on them. It was kind of popular back then, and so that was his little hustle. He would make buttons and he would sell them. And he had a record shop, but it winded up not panning out. And he's also an inventor. He invented a couple things. So my oldest son's dad is he's very, very smart. He had that entrepreneurial spirit. He was very innovative, and kind of resourceful. And it's a rare quality to find in a black man, is resourcefulness. He was kind of resourceful. So those were some of the good qualities he had. So when we got together, he didn't have no money, but I did see the potential in him, and he didn't have no money, and I was with him. I was with him, and I stuck by him until he started running around on me. But that's another story. I know, because I'm not here to bash him, but and so I stuck by him, and I supported him. I supported him, whatever it was that he was talking about, how what he wanted to do and stuff like that, or things that he wanted to materialize. You know, I listened to him. I would give him something. I would give him encouragement. I would try to support him in any way that I could. Um, yeah, you know. So that's an example of it in my own life. I done that. So it's a lot of women that did that. It's a lot of black women that have done that. And then when that black man, if he happens to get successful, and not in all cases, but um, not in all cases, but in some cases, a lot of cases, they get to a certain level, then they feel like that black woman is no longer um good enough for him, and then they move on to a white woman, you know. So I have to disagree with him on that. I was with him until he said that, because and it's been a lot of cases where black women have stuck with black men even when they was in prison, even when they was on lockdown. And I think somebody mentioned that in the comment section of this video, that video that he's doing. Um, there's black women that have stuck by black men when they was in prison, when they was on lockdown, putting money on their books. And black women has a lot of black women have stuck by black men through all kind of stuff. This being a writer, and I mean, some of them sisters will ride to the end. Ooh, they're a lot. Some of them they're a whole lot better than me, cause I ain't gonna. It's only so much I can take. I do have a line, and once I always tell everybody I got a rope, and sometimes I get to the middle of the rope, but once I get to the end of that rope, it, it's all done. Once I get to the end of that rope, that's done. We're all done. If I Once I get to the end of that rope, we're all done. So, so I mean, with me, I have a line, but some sisters will ride that thing out to the end. They be long suffering, and then a lot of times it doesn't pan out. It doesn't work out for them, and then they wind up losing themselves in the process. They wind up getting very severely emotionally damaged, and so on and so forth. So I've heard a lot of cases of that. Um, so I just think when black women do that, black women don't get the credit. Black men don't give black women credit for doing that and stuff like that. And then when the relationship doesn't work out and she finally decides that she wants to move on, what is the first thing the black men say? Well, you should have chose better. And she happened to had a baby by that man, and things didn't work out. She rode with him as long as she could endure until she was tired, and then she let go. And then she had to cut him loose. And then what is the first thing black men say? Well, you should have chose better. Well, maybe she was trying to ride with that man, and she was trying to support him and was trying to ride with him, but he was just, got so far gone. So I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think basically what he's talking about when he say black women don't ride. Now there is a certain percentage of black women out there that once they get to a certain level, it's like black women, we want the same things that every other race of women want. I don't know what part of that people don't understand. We want the same things that every other woman want. We want security. We want to be taken care of. We want that. We just like any other race of women. We want the same things. I don't know what part of that people don't understand. We're just like any other woman. We want security. We want to be taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that. People act like it's something wrong with a black woman having standards. They act like it's something wrong with us when we have standards. What is wrong with a black woman having standards? They act like we're not supposed to have standards. And so there are certain percentage of black women out there that they have standards. They have worked hard. They have went to college. They they worked hard. They grinded. They get to it. They get their degree and they get their in their career. They get to a certain level. Of course they're gonna want a man on their level. Of course they're gonna want someone on their level. Who's not gonna want someone on their level? Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's what he's talking about here. When black women get to a certain percentage of black women, when they get to a certain level, they have standards. That's this thing called standards, and there is nothing wrong with a black woman having standards. And then there's something when she gets to a place to where, especially when a black woman gets to a place to where she really knows her worth. When a black woman gets to a place where she really learns her worth and she knows her worth, it's just gonna be some certain things that she not gonna tolerate. It's gonna be certain things that I know at this stage of my life there are certain things that I'm just not gonna be down for, because I have learned my worth. So when a black woman gets to a certain place in life, in a certain position in life, she learns her worth, and and she has standards. She expects to get somebody, that's on her level, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And anything else, she's not willing to settle. When we get to a certain age, we ain't trying to settle. This is like, hypothetically speaking, I would like to start my own business one day. If that materializes and I actually do wind up starting my own business, okay, well, I'm gonna be at a certain level, and I'm gonna be looking for somebody that's well, I'm not. I shouldn't say looking, because I'm actually not. I'm actually not. Technically, I'm not looking for a man. I'm not looking for a man. I have to reword that. If I was interested in being with someone, I'm going to be interested in being with somebody that's going to have got the same mindset that I have, and that's kind of on my level as far as that. You know what I mean? So it's nothing wrong with a black woman having standards. And so I think that's what he's talking about. Yes, there are certain percentage of black women, once they get to a certain level, and there's more college educated black women than there are black men. So that percentage of black women, have standards, and they're not willing to settle for less. They're not willing to settle for, maybe they get to a certain age. Well, I ain't got time to. I don't have time when a black woman gets to a certain age. You ain't got time to be waiting on somebody to make some stuff shake. You want somebody that's already at that level, when, especially particularly when the woman gets to be a certain age. I'm at an age now where I ain't got time to be waiting on somebody to get it together. I need you to already have it together. I mean, you know what I mean? It is. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. But you got the younger generations of black women that will ride. They will ride. It's a lot of black women out there that will ride. I rode when I was younger. Okay, so what he's saying is not correct. There is a lot of black women that will ride. He is not giving black women credit where credit is due. And there's a lot of black men, they have the tendency to lump us all together and put us all in the same box and say that just because a certain percentage of black women that won't ride or whatever, or have just these set of standards, okay, they think that we all feel that way. And that is not true. That is simply not true. And so it's just a situation to black men need to stop stereotyping us, stop generalizing us, and stop saying that we're all a certain way. Because there's a lot of black women that ride with black men. And then the first thing, when it doesn't work out, when she gets tired and she wants to move on, which is the first thing they tell her, you should have chose better. Okay, so I go on record as saying that I disagree with that. So, sisters, sound off in the comment section. Black men, if you sound off in the comment section, please be nice. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. If you've seen that video by Umar Johnson, let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, the like, and the share. And the notification bell, so every time I do a video, you will be notified. And until the next video, peace and love. This is Sweet June.